There, now we're live. I had to click it one more time, which I've never had to do. All right, we are live. Sweet. So there we go. This is the affiliate sign up link. Boom. And as far as last episode, we dove into some lead generation, right?
Sure did.
Is that what we were doing last episode?
Yeah, we did that. How to promote a single listing from Facebook ads using amazing real estate chatbots.
Yes, absolutely. So a couple of announcements real quick. We are doing some awesome updates for November 1st. So I haven't even told Chris this, but you guys are getting a little heads up on what's happening November 1st, this Friday. So today I found out a better way, new and improved way for you guys to get concierge support. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to tell Chris all about it after, but basically it's all going to live within the online portal. So you won't have to go over to Facebook Messenger and text and then go back to the online portal. It's all going to be there, whether you're on mobile, whether you're on your iPad, whether you're on a computer. If you get stuck as you're like running a Facebook ad and you're like, you have my video up and you got all these tabs open, there'll be a little widget at the bottom. You just click it, boom, and you'll already be in the online portal, get that instant answer, and then you're back to it. So I'm really excited about that. I hope you guys are too. We're improving everything for this Real Nurture 2.0 launch, including the concierge. So that's being streamlined. And then we will have omni-channel, like everything we've been talking about will be launched. So you'll be able to follow up and be in compliance, number one, with Facebook, but also then number two, reach people on text and reach people via email. So pretty exciting stuff. And then I did drop the affiliate and the concierge link. Those are both still active, even the messenger subscription. So that's going to turn into more of an onboarding experience for new customers to go through that concierge thread through Messenger. Right when you check out, you're like, hey, subscribe to concierge. That'll be more of an onboarding thread and the way that we can communicate with you about lives and updates to the templates and stuff. But I'm stoked. Once you guys see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think it's a way better experience for you as the end user. So with that being said, make sure to sign up for the active concierge because we will be giving updates through there. And then last episode, we talked about lead generation. Now, real quick, a couple of important peeps that just came through this week. Gerald, this guy, he has a big international, that's my puppy barking. He has a big international company that's based out of Irvine. I might have plugged him last week, but anyway, yeah, he's getting set up this week and he has some exciting things going on. So that's awesome. And then I just saw Cheryl pop in. So I'm excited that we continue to grow. And I also am launching a webinar on November 12th. So if you guys have some affiliates and some people that you're interested in bringing in, we're going to have a webinar kind of walking people through what this experience is all about. That is on November 12th. And I'm excited about that because I think it will allow that 20-30 minute educational curve for people to come through, see what we have, see the back end, and be able to make the decision for themselves. And I'm confident that it should really increase users. And once again, every new user makes it better for everybody. So I've been talking a ton, so I'm gonna let Chris take it away now and cover, or at least introduce, the idea and the concept of what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so it's a big thing, right? Like mindset. And more importantly, like how does that relate to what we're talking about with this whole omni-channel chatbot marketing, conversation? It's one of those things that at the end of the day, there's going to be a fancy word for what marketing is in the era that you're living in, whether it's 20 years from now, 15 days past or whatever. The terminology is always going to change. There's always going to be buzzwords, but the one thing that should never change is the mindset and how you approach the problem at hand or the solution at hand, whichever direction you want to see it, right? Like, what's your perception on the matter? So with that being said, like, mindset is all about how you attack your day. Everybody has the same 24 hours, right? There was a book that I was reading, and essentially he just put his foot down and said, this is going to be evergreen marketing strategy forever. Like, it hasn't changed in the past 50 years. It's not going to change in the next 50 years. Marketing is marketing. And when you think about it in that regard, you're like, well, there's no way that marketing is going to be the same as it is today in 50 years. But at the very basic level, it is. So think about what marketing actually is and how chat marketing plays into this. I starting to think that chat marketing is the buzzword, but the better way to look at it to help you get into the right mindset is conversational marketing. And even take the word marketing out of that. Conversation, right? So with conversations, that's something that humans have been doing forever. You know, rocks on the walls and you're painting and saying like, here's the story, right? That's what it is. You have characters, you have stories, and you have the deliverables. Am I selling you something? Do I want you to feel a certain way? Or am I precipitating this moment to be something better the next day? Do I want you to follow me along a path? Do I want you to, hang out with me one day and then I never want to talk to you again? Do I want to give you this amazing thing and then let you go do your own? Do I want to educate you over the course of years? Do I want to nurture this relationship? And that's what marketing is. So when we talk about the mindset secret, what is the lifetime value of a new conversation? It's everything, because conversations are everything. And if you can't have the right conversations with your audience, you're not going to be able to sell them. And above that, if you're not having the conversations in the place that your audience is, where their attention already is, you're going to be having this great message that nobody hears. So it's about timing, right? And that's where we want to get that mindset shift. Where do you find your audience? Where are they hiding out? What are you going to tell them? How are you going to tell them? And what's the outcome? If you can nail those 4 things down, you'll be marketing for the rest of your life. And it doesn't matter what people call it or what platform you're using or what systems or what technologies, it's all going to work. So you got to nail that down. And that's my rant.
Drop the mic. I love it. No, it's true. It's all about the conversation. Conversations used to happen in person. Then they would happen over the phone, right? Then they happened over email. And if we're talking business to consumer, now consumers are opening up to text. Even my girlfriend the other night, she said, oh yeah, I just saw a special from Mother's. It's Mother's is like an organic grocery store out here in California. It's kind of like Sprouts. And she's like, I just saw that there's a special at Mother's for whatever it was, kombucha or whatever. I just signed up for their text marketing. And she admitted that she consciously signed up for their text marketing. And Gary Vee just said this too. People in the last 18 months have finally opened up their cell phone and their either SMS or messenger to brands, right? Email was ruined. And what I love about these new mobile marketing sources is that they're much more regulated. They've learned from email and they're here to stay and keep those open rates really high. They make unsubscribing really easy. So the question of this whole topic is, what is the lifetime value of a new conversation? So with that being said, we need to break down lifetime value. Most people don't know what lifetime value is. And most people, when you think about marketing, especially a realtor, it's like, oh, I'm going to go knock doors. I'm going to go send, postcards out. I'm going to go on the radio. Maybe if you're like at that level, I'm going to go, that's marketing. I'm going to just go put it out there. But none of them consider what can they afford to pay to gain a customer. And what I mean by that is it's not just the first commission of the first sale, because lifetime value considers how many referrals this new person gives you once you close them, or even if you don't close them. It also includes multiple sales. What's the chance that they rebuy or sell it from you? If you just helped someone buy a home, well, in 5 to 8 years, they're going to want to sell it, right? Are they going to go with you? And it incorporates multiple factors like the life expectancy, your average age of your client. Like there's a bunch of different factors. But it turns out if we do a lifetime value calculator, this is actually from Top Producer. This is a lifetime value of a client in California, in San Diego, with the home price of 590, commission rate of 3%, broker split of 10%, probability of repeat business, like all this stuff on like pretty much national averages. The lifetime value is $66,000 of income to you as the agent. That's not one commission on the first sale, right? $66,000 is the lifetime value. And if you tweak these numbers, if you have a younger demographic, say they're 35 instead, and say your repeat business game is really strong, you do a lot to retain your clients, if you just change those two numbers, look how big that lifetime value just jumped. So with this in mind, this is how marketers look at advertising. We're not saying, okay, I'm going to spend 10% of my gross budget on marketing and that's it. Like my gross income and marketing 10%. Okay, that's my budget. That's the way to look at marketing if you want to just burn through ad dollars and burn through money. Instead, once you know the lifetime value of your customer, now you know how much you can pay in order to close them. And now with real estate, this is not to say that you could pay $87,000 for every client, because every single person you talk to doesn't turn into a client, do they? Say it's an internet lead. We're talking 100 to 1. 100 leads to 1 converted home sale is a pretty common statistic. And if your systems are super strong, like best in the nation, you're talking about 4%. But if we did 1%, then that would mean that of 100 leads that you generate, 1 would turn into a home buyer, and that home buyer's lifetime value would be $87,000 and $615. Or if we went back to the other numbers, which are more towards the national average, boom, 66. So what if we did 66,109 divided by 100? Boom. Well, that's $661 per lead. So if you have really good systems in place and you're only spending $7 for a Facebook lead, you have so much more room in that lead's lifetime to help maximize it, nurture it, put your team's time, money, and energy on it in order to get them farther along in the process to buy from you. Up to $661 per lead is what you can afford to pay. And if you know now what you can afford to pay, then this flips the entire script of marketing. Super valuable. And I hope I'm not losing you guys, because the difference now is, instead of saying I made $20 million I sold 20 million gross annual commissions last year, or sorry, I'm using the wrong terminology. I sold $20 million in homes, 20 million divided by 0.025, 800,000. So that's before splits and everything, but like, let's say you netted 600,000. Not bad, right? Well, if you sold 20 million solo and had like almost no overhead, and you know, this is kind of like a unicorn situation, and you netted 600,000, the practical and like classic marketing formula for that is take 10%, and now your budget for next year is 60,000. Does that make sense, Chris? How I described that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Made 600 net, cool. I'm gonna do 60, and actually you'd usually do it on the gross. So you do like 80,000 is my marketing budget for next year. How are we gonna carve that up? And we're gonna do 20K in radio, and we're gonna do that. No, forget all that. The real way to do marketing and to do it right, this is from Jay Abrahams in a talk with Tony Robbins. I mean, this is like big advice. You identify how much you can afford to pay to gain a customer. And then the question becomes, awesome, how many customers can I gain for less than $661 per lead? And honestly, it's a lot. And in my case, for example, for me to get on the phone and then close a real estate broker costs about $1,500 to $2,000. When I like hone in on the funnel, I'm driving leads to a landing page, and some of those are turning into strategy sessions, and then some of those are then closing and turning into deals. That funnel, the way that it drops down, it takes about $2,000 to generate a client. And so basically, if someone's going to bring me a referral, I'll pay them $500 or whatever it is, because they just saved me all that marketing expense, right? Because I know the lifetime value of a client, and it's not just that it cost me about $2,000 to get. The lifetime value is way more than that, because the lifetime value is however many months the startup investment, however many months they're with us, plus referrals, plus the brand awareness of having them as a client, and any other influence that helps me to get introductions with other realtors. There's so much more to it. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to think about. And then the next level, if you're still with me, the next level is to now think of the lifetime value of a conversation. Because if we're talking about the lifetime value of a lead, that's one thing. The lifetime value of a customer, that's right, the 66,000 once they actually become a customer. Well, what about a conversation? Because I think if the lead is over here, where like some of them you don't talk to, some of them you do, some of them have bad numbers, and then the closed customer is over here, then in between is the conversation. Some of the leads turn into quality conversations, and some of the quality conversations then turn into customers. So what's the lifetime value of that, right? And if you do your metrics and you know your numbers, well, if you're talking to even 30% of the 100 leads, then you can do the math. 66,000, what was the number? 109 divided by 100, boom, 661. How would we do that? Divided by 100 and then divided by 30? No. Times 30? 66,109. So divided by 30? Is that, oh yeah, that sounds about right. 2,203. So if you think about that, then the lifetime value of a conversation is around $2,000. And that just gets me excited, because yes, you can spend up to $2,000 to generate these qualified conversations, and that might seem like a hefty toll, but really that's not what I mean. What I mean is you should have so much value, and you should have so much focus on how much a conversation is worth. Like when someone texts you back through ManyChat, through the bot, and you're like, oh, like, I don't know if this is, this is a bad lead, whatever. No, that's a lead that's engaging with your brand, asking you to help them buy or sell a home. That's worth $2,000 to you, right? If the lifetime value of a client is 66,000, then the lifetime value of a conversation is 2,200 based on those numbers. So I wanted to point this out because this is just a different way to think about it, a different way to think about the value of a lead, of a conversation, which is the bridge between a lead and a sale, and then a closed client, because not a lot of people think about lifetime value. Very few do, actually. So what feedback do you have based on that, Chris?
Well, I think too is, with all of that being said, like, it's all relative. We can talk all these crazy fancy numbers, but at the end of the day, like, the conversations are what's going to be telling that story that I was talking about earlier. That's going to then close that client. That's going to get you that customer lifetime value of $66,000. So it all starts somewhere. And you brought up a good point. Like, people say, oh, this isn't a good lead. No, it's a lead that's not ready right now because you haven't told him the right story that hits his pain points, that resonates with him enough to open up his wallet, like you just said, Your girlfriend gave her phone number to a company with the intention that they are going to send her marketing. Like she was okay with that.
Right.
That takes a lot to take from, I know nothing about this company, to I'm going to give them my phone number knowing that they're going to send me content it's not something that I normally expect from my phone, which is family, friends, like all of that. So it's one of those things that, think about it like this, right? Like if you put an ad for the Super Bowl, you know you're going to be in front of a ton of people, but you're also going to pay a ton to do that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the message that you're putting out there, but it's how you communicate that. And that's where the attention comes into play, right? So if you can fill up a football stadium with only people that are looking to buy a house, only looking to buy a house in your area, only looking to buy a house in your area and have pre-approval, how much is that conversation worth? And how much are you willing to spend to give them your message? That is the mindset that everybody needs to start getting into. Is it's not about what does it cost for me to get somebody in my door that I can talk to? Because that may be in the situation where you can say, yeah, it's a bad lead because your targeting is not on point. You're not marketing in the right place and they're not getting the right message that resonates with them. There's a whole bunch of strategies how you can nail that down and not only get your targeting set, not only have your message resonate with the people. There's all these different strategies that you can go through that. But at the end of the day, you have to look at what is the objective? Like, what are you trying to do? What are you closing on? What are you selling? Are you selling that you're an expert? Are you selling, there you go, 5 million to get in front of a Super Bowl ad right now?
For 30 seconds.
30 seconds. You can do so much more and actually be in front of the audience that you want to be in front of with the tools and the systems that we use every single day. And it's not that you don't know how to do them. It's just you didn't know about them. And then you figured them out. But like I was saying earlier, times will change. The systems will change. The attention of your audience will not be on Facebook or social media forever. It's always migrating. Why do you think everybody's looking at email and SMS now? Email's been around for a while and people were like, oh, it's dying. No, we weren't using it right. And people just stopped reading it. But there's still people that get that story out there. If you guys are familiar with Russell Brunson, his whole thing is he creates an attractive character. He does a soap opera story where he gives you 90% entertainment, 10% sales. And at the end of that sale, it's not just like a direct sale, like, hey, buy this thing. It's like, hey, I got this really cool story and this is what happened. And you start with the punchline. Like you don't ease into it and start at the beginning because the beginning isn't interesting. It's the meat and potatoes that's going to get people's attention. So you give them the meat and potatoes up front, and then you tell them how you got there. And then you say how this is relevant to your sale product. Like you guys are selling houses. So you'd say, so there I was, with a flood in my house. And you explain why the flood in your house helped you find the right real estate agent and how you can help them do the same exact thing so that they avoid having a flood in their house. Like whatever those situations are, you tell a story, you have the sale at the end, you give them a link, but then that story continues to the next one. Why should they open the next email from you? Should they open up the first one and then never talk to you again?
Yeah.
So these are the things.
That's really important. And at Lab Code Agents Live, which is like one of the top real estate conferences, as far, not the biggest, but one of the most cutting edge that I went to this year, one of the speakers spoke about that. He said, of course, people aren't going to click on your link, just sold. Look at this. Oh, multi-million-dollar house. Oh, look at me. No, people don't care about that. Like, yeah, you might get a couple other realtors commenting on it and being like, congrats. But if you say that that person was a star athlete that you can't name because of client privilege, but he got traded right before the playoffs and he needed to be out in 7 days and you delivered on that, that's a story. And it's all about the story. And then on the flip side, if it's not a luxury listing, if you talk about how there was this catastrophic flood and everything was ruined, but the homeowners were able to claim homeowners insurance on it, then they were out for a while. They were kind of displaced. When they came back, the home was more valuable than it had ever been. Brand new renovation, market's at its peak, and you're able to capitalize on that for them, help them to market it correctly, create a bidding war, and sell it far beyond what they ever thought they could have gotten prior to the flood. And you turn this disaster into an absolute miracle for their family. And now they live in their dream home in the city that's, 2 cities closer to the beach in California, and they never thought they could afford. That hits the heart. And so what Chris is talking about with that storytelling is like starting with a hook, then telling the plot, right, which has characters inherently, plot, there's drama, there's something unfolds, there's a story, and then the resolution, right? Hook, plot, resolution. And that is what it's all about. That's what conversation is all about. It's about storytelling. And that's what sales and marketing is all about. It's about storytelling. What I'll end with here is, you ever talk to someone and it feels like it just goes nowhere and there's no ending? That's because they don't understand the very simple aspect of storytelling. It's the simplest framework. Every story has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. So with that being said, think about when you're in conversations with clients and you're following scripts and you're going through and doing everything that you do on a daily basis as a realtor, think about having a concise ending and then opening back up to listening when you're having a dialogue, whether in person, on the phone, or through text. And of course, a lot of it is transactional. You're getting a quick answer back to a home buyer or a seller. But think about from the marketing standpoint, before they're trusting you and texting you back and forth just for a quick answer. Prior to that, think about hooking them with a quick story. 30 seconds, 1 minute, short form, just bam, hey, here's what happened today. Hey, here's how I solved it. Here's how I was able to rise above that. I actually had to call in and get advice from a separate agent. And you know what? We split the commission, but that's cool because we serve the client more. And there's so many, it's infinite. And you do this on a daily basis. So with that being said, just really consider like the lifetime value of every single lead and every single conversation that you have. And gosh, once they become a customer, if you don't totally blow it, and if you don't do what most agents do, which is always focus on new business, then you're going to inherently have repeat customers, you're going to have referrals, you're going to have all this extra stuff come from putting in work 5 years ago that is now paying dividends. And that's where lifetime value comes in. So consider that when you guys are generating leads, when you're implementing the system and nurturing them. The value is so much more than just today. And I really encourage you to think that way, because the best, most successful businesses in the world think this way. And the best realtors I know think about real estate in this way. They aren't just showing up to a job. They're building a business. And businesses think about taking care of their clients long term, because it is statistically 17 times easier to have someone buy from you again who has already pulled out their wallet and done it once. So leverage that. Make sure to stay in front of people, even if it's just a lead who just took that micro commitment, opted and gave a little information, right? Nurture them. That could turn into a $66,000 lifetime value customer. So that's all I got for it. It's just really a mindset thing this week.
Yeah, and two, the last thing that I'll bring up, and bring in that full circle, right? You live in a day and an age where you may be bad at storytelling and you believe in all these concepts, but you just don't know where to start. Guess what this bot does for you? This bot is going to tell those stories. It's going to nurture those relationships and tee you up. So all you got to do is be standing at home plate when the guy with the walk-off comes in, and you shower him with the Gatorade, and you get to reap all the benefits. You don't have to be great at storytelling. You just have to know how to use the system and to put people in the right place at the right time and just do everything else that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I love it. That's the whole thing. If you're feeling a little bit like this might not be your forte, is the whole like being on camera and telling stories, that's cool. It's a great point, Chris, because that's why we built this out in the way where it's conversationally interacting on a daily or every other day basis with these new leads. And it's continuing the conversation. It's telling stories about past clients, and it's telling stories about things like little tiny things about certain areas. I don't know if you guys ever just watch the autoresponder and like watch people interact with it, but I'm proud of what we've built. I know Chris has put a lot of effort into it. this all stemmed from professionally copywritten lead nurture sequences for real estate. So it's all like very valuable content that is engaging and storytelling, and that's already built out for you guys. So great point, Chris. I'm excited for Friday for Real Nurture 2.0, and I hope you guys are too. So get ready for omni-channel, get ready for a new concierge experience, get ready for updated videos in the back office. It's going to be amazing. And, November is almost here, 2020 is almost here, and we are ready for it.
You bet.
All right, guys. Well, with that, take care. We'll see you next week at a new and improved time, which will be disclosed very shortly. Chris and I are going to brainstorm. We no longer are doing it at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. We'll probably do it more towards like mid-morning. And then ideally we could get more of you guys on here live, because I know a lot of people check it on a replay throughout the week, but I would love to have some extra engagement during the live, and that way we could instantly answer questions and really just start this dialogue, get feedback from you, and continue to make this product better and better. So have a great one. And Chris, I will talk to you after this meeting.
See ya.
Bye.